Hey there everybody, welcome back to Tim Plays Games. It's been a little while and I'm doing something different. In fact, I'm doing a lot of different stuff with the channel now. We're going to be playing a lot more than just PlayStation games, though I am still going to do that. I've decided to sort of twist this channel around a bit and start getting back into some of the games I used to play as a kid. This is board games, tabletop wargaming, role-playing we're going to be doing a bit of. Before I get started on what I'm doing today, I'd really like it if you could go and look at some stuff that you might want to know about, put it into the comments below, ask me any questions at all you've got about games that you're interested in, and the sort of things that you'd like me to cover off in different videos. I'm going to do a lot of these, and I just want to get this really interesting and cover a huge range of gaming. I want to dig up some ancient Egyptian board games and things like that. I might stay clear of Jumanji, but other than that, I mean, hell, if you got a copy of Jumanji, let's have a go at it. Might even make one. That's the sort of thing I want to do here. Some really cool stuff. One thing I've got coming up that I really want to get into is playing Blood Bowl. And I'm going to be painting up a lot of figures for that. So figure painting is something we're going to be doing a lot of. Here, for example, I've got a dwarven cheerleader. So I've got a dwarven team and there's the cheerleader for them. So prepping the game, making the figures up, painting them, playing the game. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay, I'll stop ranting now. Tonight what I want to do is have a look at a figure I've just bought, which came in a plastic bag with a cardboard sleeve that I've put somewhere. It's a Minotaur from Zealot, and I'm going to take this out of the bag, put it together with some super glue, and then I'll do another video or two or three painting it up. Let's get stuck into this Minotaur and have a good look at it. This is looking to be a really, really cool figure. Let's just pour it out of there, and as you can see, it's a whole different set of parts. Okay, I've got a decent knife here that I can use to tidy some of the chunkier bits up. And I've got some paint brushes and a whole set of paints here as well. And this here that I bought offline, which is really useful for doing this kind of thing, which is a set of dental tools of all weird things. You can actually pick this set up off AliExpress for, I think it was about $10 or $12, which is insane thinking that you can buy dental tools at home for $10. Hopefully people aren't using them for $10 dentistry. Let's have a look and see what parts we've got here. Now, this is a Minotaur that has two battle axes. So I've got one battle axe there, the other one there. I think I've got them on the right side, yep. I've got the legs for the Minotaur here, with a nice shielded belt and everything. And the upper half of the torso. There's the Minotaur's head and screaming. He's got some skulls around his necklace here. Bit of a rope around him that's holding on, braided here at the back, and some metal plates or something around him. It's got some really good socket points in here for welding the pieces onto. So there's a socket point up here for one of his horns, and on the other side for the other horn. Another one here for a shield and the arm, and the other one over here for his other arm. You can see the legs have got a really good socket point for the torso to go into as well. These are great. It means that it's not going to be slipping and sliding around when you glue it, which is fantastic. It's got some bits of mess on the bottom of the hooves here. I'm going to have to tidy those off because they won't stand properly. And other than that, it's actually a very, very clean figure. I've knocked a couple of other sort of moulding parts off here and off some of the other things, but generally this has come very, very clean. It's a resin print, it's not a styrene, so the polystyrene cement won't work with this. You need super glue for these figures. You have to remember that if you're going to buy resin print figures, that rather than molded figures like this one here, these dense styrene figures are the ones that we're used to getting over the last 20 years from Citadel and the like. These resin figures instead, they actually do need a super glue to stick together because they're not styrene, so the styrene cement won't weld them. Anyway, let's get stuck into this and start gluing some of it together. Okay, first of all, I'll just see if I can hold some of the pieces together to make sure I've got everything here. So I know that the torso goes on like that. I've got two arms here. I've got a left arm and a right arm. This one here is, I think, on this side, is that this arm, and it rotates around that way. That's awesome. and it's got a ball joint in the end here for where the wrist goes. So I can kind of move that around a wee bit to where I want it. So there's some pretty good flexibility in how this is going to sit together. Sorry, it's a bit awkward to see. I'll drop the arm down. Now I've got these two horns here. One goes in each side, of course, and one's going to stick up like that. I'm not sure which one goes on which side. I'm going to have to just sort of fiddle those around a bit and see. And I think I can see I'm going to need to trim a little bit off the edge of that there so that it fits into the hole. I can do that real easy straight away. I'll just pull my knife out. I always like to have these safety knives. The blade's away when I'm not using them, so I'm not going to cut myself. And I'll just quickly just slice a bit of that off there. Real easy. You do need to be kind of careful with this with the resin. It can be a little bit too easy to slice sometimes. It's a lot softer than it looks. Okay, the feet here. I just want to tidy these knobs off the bottom of the feet here as well. That's from obviously the printing supports. So there's no stand to put this in. That is one thing with this model that I noticed, was it didn't come with a stand, and a lot of these do, but and they're usually quite ornate, so it's kind of a pity this one doesn't, but that's okay. I can make something. Okay, so that's the kind of tidying up I need to do, and I think that's about all that there was to do, in fact. So the feet should just stand quite nicely, probably not straight away, but I'm going to get a base and glue that onto it in a wee bit. Okay, let's get the super glue out, and what I'm going to do is just put a little bit around here and into that. Actually, I'm going to put the super glue onto the base because that's got a bit of a ledge around it, so it's not going to spill or run. And the super glue can do that. It can get away from you in a bit of a hurry if you're not careful. And you don't need much. I know there's always this temptation to put on a bit more to get a better fix, but actually sometimes the super glue, a little bit less is better because you've got less glue between the surfaces, so you've actually got a better contact between the material. So I put a little bit into the hole there and just a smidgen around the outside. So hopefully you can see that reasonably well in there where I've put the glue. And now I'll get the rest of the torso placed on top of that. Okay, he's got a nice active twist in his torso there. I can just push that in. Now I always put a lot of positive pressure on there for that first 30 seconds, and I just sort of count it out. What that does is make sure that there's a really good surface to surface contact and as little air gap in there as possible. When you've got that minimal air gap, you're also pushing the glue out so there's much more contact surface. Okay, and that should do it. That's not going to come off now, so that's all good. Okay, the next bit I want to put onto here, I think, is going to be one of the arms. Now let me have a look here. I've got the two arms here, one on the left and one on the right, and I just need to make sure that I've got which one is which sorted out. I think that one there is on this side. Yep, that's right. And this one here, this other arm, goes on this side and tucks in underneath and up that way. There we go. So that's how the two arms are going to go on, just like that. Okay, so let's start by gluing this arm on this side because I've got the better camera placement for it, basically. Okay, so once again, just open up the super glue. I always close it every time so it doesn't dry on me, and just a couple of little drips here. It doesn't need much. You know, put one in the hole down here, then I will grab my arm and I will just slot that into the receiver there. Once again, I'm going to put that positive pressure down on it, and there we go. When I let that pressure go, it should have a really good bonded surface. I always wriggle it around just a little bit. I'm not actually moving it, but just testing the pressure to make sure that I am getting the best contact I can out of it. Wonderful. That's looking brilliant, isn't he? Isn't he just a fantastic critter? Okay, so now I'm going to put the other arm on the other side here. Same old thing. Dab of glue. Nice and careful so I'm not over gluing. It will spread out, of course. Don't forget that little spot there is going to spread out to about 4 times the size when I put the pressure on. Don't forget also, when you're putting this sort of thing together, fit the pieces in first and make sure that it does actually all go in the way you're expecting it to. Okay, I think that one goes around that way. There we go. In there nicely like that. Once again, putting some pressure on. Quick count up to 30. Now there's a couple of bits like the shield here. That's the shield down here on the ground, and the plate there, which go in over the top of other things. So I'm not actually going to glue those in just yet. I'm going to wait till I finish painting the skin around here, and then I'm going to glue them on pretty much when the model's nearly complete, because otherwise if I put that in here now, and it kind of goes in around that way, then that's going to be really hard for me to paint up under the edges and stuff in here. I won't be able to get in to here with the paintbrush very easily to paint that up. I could put it on, I could do it, I'd be able to do it and get away with it, but it's far easier for me just to paint the shield separately and then glue it on later on. So that's our fella there mostly set up. I just got to put his arms on, his hands on, and put his horns on up there as well. 2 arms, I just got to make sure I've got them on the right side. This one here, I can have that axe down, rotated in or out a wee bit if I want to, and I can have it more angled down or more angled up. I could do that whole sort of dragging it on the ground kind of thing if I wanted to. I think I might have it back and down a bit, just in there. I think that looks pretty good. I'll come back to that one. That means that the tip of the axe here will be just sort of touching on the ground when the figure's being finished up and mounted. This one here, once again, I can have it angled in or out or up or down. Unless I do them both out and down, how's that going to look? That would look kind of like that. Or I could angle that one over that way and that one down, which is a bit more compact. Either of those is pretty cool. I do know that I want to do this one down and out, so let's put that one in there first. So once again, I'll put the glue into the socket here, and then I'm going to get this axe and I'm just going to line it up so that the edge of the axe is at the same level or slightly above the hoof, just slightly above. I don't want to get too close because I still want to get the brush in between the leg there, so that'll do me there. It's about 20 seconds and I can start letting go of that. That's going to be fine. Okay, there's a little bit of glue sort of seeped out around the edge in here. I can see that. If you have a look in there, you'll see maybe a little bit of shine around the wrist. But yeah, that fella's starting to look pretty epic at the moment already. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. And now all I got to do is just figure out what it is I want to do with the other axe. So I kind of like it if the axe is more inward and angled down a bit as well. I think it's just a bit more dramatic than having 2 axes out, for example. Yeah, what I'm going to do is just have it in and down a wee bit. Yeah, down and up a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, and once again, just going to plonk that around there. This is a new glue, by the way. I haven't used this glue before. I've just opened it up. So this one here, I'm going to have that coming in and slightly raised so the back of it's out. That glue starts holding very fast. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful with that because I can see myself quite quickly gluing stuff together a lot quicker than I anticipated. That's what that fella looks like. There he is. Quite happy with that stance and where he's holding those axes. Okay, so the last bit to do is to glue the 2 horns in. I just have to make sure I figure out which way around they go. I'm just going to have a look at this by just comparing the horns to the receiving sockets. That kind of goes in there quite nicely. So I think that's around that way. So I've worked that one out. This one goes on this side and this one goes on the other side. Back to the old thing. Small drop of glue in here. There are actually 8 of these Minotaurs in the set, I think it is, from Zealot. If you just look up Zealot Miniatures or Zealot Minotaurs, you'll find them online fairly easily. And so that fits in there. If you can see it, there's a little bit of a gap around the base of the horn. So I'm going to want to get in there with just a really thin slither of green stuff. I'm really glad this is a fast gripping glue because otherwise the video would take twice as long to make. And then I'll plonk this horn into there. Okay, that will have gripped in just a second. That looks fine, doesn't it? That looks good. So here we go. Here's the Minotaur. He's got his horns on, he's got his axes on, he's got his torso on, and he's all ready to go for a base coat. And we've got the shield, which is going to come up here on the shoulder as well. So once those are on, it's going to look a bit like that. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to paint those separately and glue them on last. Alrighty, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave any comments, questions or suggestions you've got in the description down below and all that sort of stuff. And click over here and you can subscribe to the channel. We want as many subscribers as we can. Share this out, tell other people about it, watch this video and watch this video as well, because they're awesome. And we'll carry on with this in another video soon. Have a great day. See you later.